And now, here's Mike Muse with the political news.
So let's get right to it and meet the candidates.
That completes the opening statement.
We're going to get right to it.
On Sway in the morning.
All right, Mike Muse is here. Good morning, Mike Muse.
See you, Sway.
Good to see you, man. Thank you for all your commentary during the Billboard Music Award Red Carpet show. He was giving me some constructive feedback.
I was your coach for the day, your media coach.
Yes,
I
appreciate it, man.
All the greats need coaches sometimes.
Thank you, man.
I tried to make you go from great to just fucking brilliant, bro.
I appreciate
I didn't mean
that.
to cuss like that.
Damn, I'm not used to you doing that, Mike Muse.
I got too comfortable.
Yikes. Is your mom listening?
Wow.
Political pundit. Yes, Mike Muse is intelligently ratchet.
Since I got so warmed up with Sway that when I came in, I felt like I'm just kicking it downstairs. Oh my God.
He revealed his true self.
No, Saturday nights reveal his true self. Y'all should have seen him at the happy hour at WHB. That party at Hooters was bananas. Get some Moet in this fella's system. You'll see.
Let me see you pump them things. Don't stop, Doodle Brown. Don't want Doodle Brown so anytime Mike Muse acts.
No. He only does that when I'm not in the room.
Gotcha.
All right, let's get to it, Mike Muse.
Jesus Christ.
With your foul mouth.
Wow, I'm sorry, citizens, for that.
Yeah, this better be on point.
No.
Let's go, bro.
Well, let's just go for it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some exciting news to report just now. Last night, Georgia, it was a big primary day sway yesterday across the country in key states from Kentucky to Texas to Georgia. But the main one everybody was really focused on was the state of Georgia. And sway, we have, for the first time ever in American history, a black female has been put up for a primary, for a party's nominee for state governor. Her name is Stacey Abrams, and she won, Sway, overwhelmingly, 76% to 24% of her opponent. Sway, that roughly equals she got 363,000 votes to 114,000 votes. So she won hands down, and here's what she had to say at her acceptance speech last night.
And I know you know that as our state's rich and complicated history courses through our memories on nights like tonight when the unexpected becomes the truth. It reminds us of who we are, how we've stumbled, and how we flourished. And it commands that we embrace our obligation to live up to Georgia's tradition of pride and of promise, but to always remember our very complex roots. And together we will shape a future with a boundless belief and historic investment in the children at the very core of every decision we make. So tonight I say thank you all. Now let's go get it done.
Ooh.
Yeah, so she's excited, man. She's an exciting candidate. I've known Stacey Abrams since she was in the State House. She's very dynamic, and she's approaching it differently, Sway, which is interesting because this is the way the Democrats are going to have to figure out how they're going to run in the midterms. So she believes that it's about going after and encouraging more Democrats who already are in the party versus some believe, in particular in red states, that they have to reach out across the aisle to independent-leaning Republicans who want to bring them into the fold. Now she faces, actually, Sway, there's a runoff on the Republican side between State Lieutenant Governor Casey Cagle and Brian Kemp. Neither one of them met the 50% threshold, so now there needs to go to a runoff in July. So we have to see who's going to be Stacey's Republican candidate come November. And then also, too, as we approach the midterms, it's an important time period. And here's actually what President Trump had to say.
So your vote in 2018 is every bit as important as your vote in 2016, although I'm not sure I really believe that, but you know. I don't know who the hell wrote that line. I'm not sure. But it's still important, remember that.
Yo, I'm sure that made every GOP operative just cringe when he said that, because for the GOP, Sway, it's really important that they keep the House and they keep the Senate. It's important that the House maintains Republican for them in order to support and go forward with President Trump's legislation and his legislative agenda. If not, if the Democrats take the House and or the Senate, there could be some legislative hurdles that the Trump administration will have to overcome, which won't be easy. But to kind of wrap this segment up, Sway, what we're seeing in the Democratic Party now is a new type of candidates. What we're seeing across the board from special elections to the primaries is that it's women candidates now who are winning. It is veterans who are winning. A vet won in Kentucky yesterday. And just those who come from a different background, including a good friend of mine, Colin Allred, who's a former NFL player. I think Heather B would like that. He used to play for the Tennessee Titans, and he won his primary in the Dallas suburb area. So we're on the watch for if these new type of candidates can win come November, Sway.
Okay.
Moving on, sir. Michael Cohen.
Michael Cohen, he's been under a heavy, heated investigation. And
man, ever since the FBI has raided his offices and his homes, he's been under scrutiny, and whether or not he will be used in the special prosecution for the Mueller investigation on Russia citizens. But what became yesterday, man, the heat got put on even further, Sway, when a significant business partner of Michael Cohen's, as you all know, citizens, is President Trump's personal lawyer, has agreed to cooperate as a government witness on both state and federal level. And this is coming from the New York Attorney General's office, Sway. The gentleman is named they call him Eugene Friedman. He's a Russian immigrant who is known as a taxi king here in Sway, in New York City. Specifically, has agreed to assist government prosecutors in state and federal investigations. Sway, do you want to know what he was facing before he decided to flip?
Well, what was his charges?
That's why, yeah, he was facing, Sway, charges for evading $5 million in taxes and faced 4 counts of criminal tax fraud and 1 of grand larceny. Sway, those are felonies. Each count holds up to a maximum of 25 years in prison, and he was facing 5 of them. So he was looking at a sentence of potentially 125 years in prison. As a result of him agreeing to become a witness, he now, Sway, got reduced to a 5-year probation sentence and only has to pay $50,000.
I want to know why he was being dubbed the Taxi King. Did he have a big ownership in the taxi? Why was that his code name?
That's such a great question that you asked, Heather Bean. I'm really glad that you brought that into the equation. Citizens in New York City, we have a particular thing called medallions.
Right.
And medallions have been known as where the mob associates its cash, it's transactional, it's kind of the laundering, if you will, for dirty money. Citizens pre-Uber, pre-Lyft, a medallion will cost you anywhere up to $1.3 million, in some cases $2 million. Now, once the ride-sharing services came into New York City, it's been reduced to about $350K to $750K. But he was known as the king of medallions.
But what does a medallion enable you to do?
Great question, Sway. Yeah. Think of citizens, think of the medallions as a license to operate a cab. So citizens, if you guys come to New York as a tourist, when you see the cab drivers actually driving the cab, they aren't actually the owners of the cab.
Yes.
They're essentially leasing or, for intents and purposes, renting, if you will, for that time period for their shift.
Is it kind of like having a liquor license?
Yeah. That's exactly
okay.
what I was.
But for taxis.
But for taxis.
Okay.
So, Sway, and Heather B, the most important part of the story, if you're facing 125 years and you got reduced down to 5 years of probation and $50,000, you must have had some really good information that the Attorney General's office felt could be helpful to go further in further investigations.
And so he flipped.
Flip, brother.
Would you flip? If you were faced in that situation?
125 years.
Michael Cohen's business, was he a business partner?
His business partner.
All right. Flipped on him. 888-742-3345. Would you flip on your business partner if you were facing a prison sentence? Would you let the secrets go? Call us.
Niggas forget it. I make the money don't make me a dime. Now more of the daily news on Sway in the Morning.
Okay, Michael Cohen, President Trump's personal attorney, his
business partner, Eugene Friedman,
is in the news.
Yes, he's in this news, Sway. He was facing up to 125 years in prison. He has since then flipped, and now he only will serve out 5 years probation and pay $50,000. It's also, Sway, important to note that there is no pardon really associated with this because these are state charges.
Okay.
President's pardon only deals with federal charges.
Tabitha's in Mississippi. What's up, Tabitha?
Hey, Tabitha.
Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing?
Doing
Good.
great. If you were faced in this situation, in this predicament, would you flip on your business partner?
Of course. And I'm going to tell y'all, just like I tell all of my friends, you better not do it around me because I'm going to sing like the fattest bird. I'm going to sing like the fattest canary ever created.
Let me hear how that sound, Tabitha. Let me hear you sing like that canary. Go ahead.
Okay, if you still, I'm telling the sheriff, I'm telling the FBI, I'm telling everybody. I can't sing, Sway.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, Bertha cannot have no part of me. Yeah. I'm just not made for Bertha.
Hey, Bertha being in jail. Tabitha, I appreciate that. You're a citizen.
Sway in the morning.
Heather, would you sing?
It all depends.
Okay.
It really does. It all depends.
It depends. Okay, Evan. Hey, my man, Evan is on the line.
What up, Evan?
What up, Evan?
Hey, long time.
Hey, man, how you been, brother?
Pretty good, pretty good. Looks like Trump's winning, guys. Michael Cohen paid a porn star, and now they got some taxi cab driver they're looking at that has nothing to do with Russia. This is a joke. Trump just keeps on moving forward. What do you think, Mike Muse? You think the Democrats should quit digging? Because that hole's going to cave in, brother.
What you think, Mike? You got a lot of this, dude.
What up, Evan? Evan's giving me a chance to clarify something, too, and to highlight a point. That Friedman is not responsible for anything dealing with the Russia investigation.
Okay.
They're using him. Think of it as a pyramid. So essentially, Friedman's at the bottom of the pyramid. So they're trying to get Friedman to flip on Michael Cohen to apply the pressure to Michael Cohen so that Michael Cohen will then flip hypothetically on President Trump, right? Or if there is something to be said or to be told, then to use it for that point. So Friedman has nothing to do with the Russian case. This is all prosecutorial strategies. They do this all the time. They always go for the low person on the totem pole to see how high they can go up on the pyramid.
Go ahead, Evan.
Hey, you know what I do have to give the Democrats? Them motherfuckers don't flip on each other.
Yo, this dude.
Code of the streets.
Go code of the streets. All right, Evan, man, you're a citizen, bro.
Sway the morning.
Okay, we got Mr. Nuff from Texas on the line. I don't even want to talk to Texas right now. So many people hit me from Houston last night.
Yikes.
I'm pissed at Texas. What up, Nuff?
Man, what's happening, man? I'm not a Texas native, so you all right.
Okay. Thank you, man. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing good. Look, man, we gonna have to snitch on old boy, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You gotta look at it. They ain't helping him out at no point. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do? 125 years is a lot of time.
Yeah, man. I think I'm. Yeah, man. I get it. Yeah,
facts.
Because the old boy could have been doing stuff that the taxi king, what they call him,
taxi king.
The taxi king had nothing to do with or didn't benefit from. So it's like, why am I gonna spend 125 years behind jail?
Exactly.
Behind bars. Well, yeah, I don't see that one.
And I know I'm not the focal point of the overall investigation.
Yeah. Wonder, would you snitch?
No, because that's the point. Like, how many people have seen a movie, there's going to be an eventual downfall. No hero can live like Scarface forever. There's always a downfall. So if you're doing it, you're going to have to pay the time. You know what I'm saying?
So you would do the time.
Yeah.
Instead of that 5 years probation. You would go to jail for 125 years?
Did Michael Cohen do something personally to him to get these charges brought about him? Then it's a different story. Maybe it's a revenge thing. If not, you know what you're doing.
You would do that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Hey,
Wonder's
a loyal guy,
yes,
man. Hey, man, let's do some crime together, brother. I ain't mad at that. All right, what else you got, Mike?
That's a good print. So citizens, moving on. Yesterday was just full of breaking news, Sway, but I'm sounding like a broken record always. Like, when is it not a big news day? So we got some updates for the North Korea summit. Citizens, as you know, we've been discussing this North Korea summit for the last month and a half. Is it going to happen? And then it began and looked like it was going to happen. And then people started really celebrating President Trump for making the summit happen. And then there was conversations to be had. Is he going to get a Nobel Peace Prize for bringing together this summit? But Sway, we've always talked about on this show in terms of North Korea are they're complicated individuals. They're individuals who can't be trusted over time from administration to administration. They have proven themselves not to be loyal and committed to their word, if you will. And it's looking like we got some statements last week that they were not interested in moving forward with the summit because they did not want to give up 100% of their nuclear weapons. And President Trump has always made that as a condition for the summit was that North Korea has to denuclearize. So as a result of them showing signs that they were not going to come to the table, here's what President Trump had to say yesterday in the White House regarding whether or not we believe the summit will take place.
We are working on something, and, there's a chance that it'll work out. There's a very substantial chance that it won't work out. I don't want to waste a lot of time, and I'm sure he doesn't want to waste a lot of time. So there's a very substantial chance that it won't work out, and that's okay. That doesn't mean it won't work out over a period of time. But it may not work out for June 12th. But there's a good chance that we'll have the meeting.
So you say the North Koreans, you mean the North Korean government can't be trusted, right?
Well, not the individuals. I don't. In terms of the government. Sorry
just
for
in
that.
case there's some citizens
Thank you
out
so
there
much for that.
listening.
Absolutely. So the North Korean government can't be trusted for reasons such as this. Like you get them to the table, you get them to a point where you think there is going to be some negotiation or there's going to be some compromise, and in the 12th hour they always back out. And it seemed like they caught President Trump's administration off guard, and President Trump went into this kind of laying down his marker of the result that he's going to walk away from is complete denuclearization. And North Korea isn't for that. And so we talked about that frequently. I've always said North Korea's goal up to this entire time, even for Kim Jong-un's father, his grandfather, has always for North Korea to be a nuclear state. If they believe they're a nuclear state, then other countries will have to come see them as reputable and see them as a serious country. And so for them to use all this time to starve their citizens of resources in order to just to build up this nuclear arsenal, it's really hard to believe they will actually give up all their nuclear arms for that. But some other news is being reported too, Sway, is because of logistics. So the Washington Post is reporting, Sway, that Kim Jong-un is feeling a little bit skittish. He's concerned about logistics. They don't have a modern plane fleet, Sway. That's why you always see him traveling by rail. They don't have a modern airplane. He's concerned that his plane can't make the 6,000-mile journey to Singapore. He's also concerned, Sway, that this could be a coup attempt for him if he was to leave his country, that someone inside of his government will overtake him. And he also feels that his security will be in jeopardy if he travels outside North Korea, which has always been the question for the reason why he hasn't wanted to get denuclearization.
All valid points, though.
Exactly.
I mean, all things he should be concerned about.
All things to be concerned about. And lastly, Sway citizens, I'll keep an eye on that one. Please tweet me if you have more questions about that. Just an update from what I talked about to you on Monday, citizens, was that President Trump issued a Twitter a series of tweets over the weekend describing that he feels that there was spies and those infiltrating his camp, and he's really concerned about that. Well, the Department of Justice has listened to his demand, and that was a quote from his tweet that he demanded the Department of Justice look into this. And come tomorrow, citizens, two key Republicans, Gowdy and Nunes, will sit down with the FBI director and two other representatives of the Department of Justice to now actually reveal the FBI source that was part of, I wouldn't say infiltrating, but that was inquiring with three top Trump campaign officials. So you can look at this from two different perspectives. You can say, one, they say this is transparency. This is what they're looking for, the Republican Party. But on the flip side, Sway, if any of you citizens out there that I use this comparison on Monday, again, watch Homeland. If you watch any CIA shows on television or on film, you know how important it is to keep the identity of a human resource, which is a spy or informant, confidential, because it affects the life of that individual, and it also prevents the intelligence agency to go forward and continue to work that they're doing. And so the source is going to get revealed tomorrow at the White House, and it leads into question is, where do we go from here once we start revealing sources? You know, Washington's been leaking like crazy over almost anything. And so more than likely, I feel that this name of the source could be revealed and put him in jeopardy. And Trump has been using the word spy. But every official's come out and said that there was no spy in this campaign, and this guy is an informant. There's a difference between spy and informant. So that's where we are, says on that. So after tomorrow, I'm sure there'll be more news from me report. Follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, at I am Mike Muse, MUSNSAME. I'll be keeping the story going and also reporting it back on Monday.
All right, thank you, Mike Muse. Hang out with us. We got sports on that.